Hi, today I'll be discussing Finland, PISA, and post COVID educational planning. For many years, Finland has been recognized as one of the world's strongest education systems, not just because of academic performance, but because of its focus on equity, trust, and student well being. Looking at Finland's approach alongside global PISA trends gives us important insight into what meaningful education success can look like, especially after the disruptions caused by COVID 19. In this presentation, I'll briefly discuss trends shown through PISA data, reasons Finland was successful, the human centered side of education in Finland, challenges that emerged after COVID, lessons educational leaders can learn, and my own personal reflection. For years, many countries, especially the United States, focused heavily on standardized testing, accountability measures, and competition between schools. Finland took a very different approach. Instead of emphasizing competition, Finland emphasized equity, collaboration, trust in teachers, and student well being. What stood out to me most while examining these trends is that strong educational systems are not built only through testing or rigid accountability structures. They are built through long term investment in people, social supports, and meaningful learning opportunities. One of the most significant things shown through PISA trends was Finland's ability to maintain both high performance and relatively small achievement gaps between schools. Many countries can produce high performing students, but far fewer are able to do so while also maintaining equity across different socioeconomic groups. Finland demonstrated that high achievement and equity do not have to be opposites. Their system showed that students can have different backgrounds and still have meaningful opportunities to succeed. The data showed several important patterns. First, Finland consistently performed at or above the OECD average in reading, math, and science. Second, Finland showed some of the smallest performance differences between schools, which reflects a strong commitment to educational equity. Another important takeaway was that high achievement in Finland was closely connected to inclusivity and support systems for students. However, post COVID declines were seen worldwide. Learning loss, mental health concerns, and widening inequities affected nearly every country, including high performing systems like Finland. I believe Finland outperformed many wealthier countries because it prioritized human development over competition. Their system placed strong trust in teachers as professionals rather than relying heavily on constant standardized testing. Finland also focused heavily on early intervention. Instead of waiting for students to fail, schools worked to identify learning difficulties early and provide support quickly. In addition, strong social supports, including counseling, health services, and student welfare programs, were built directly into the educational system. Finland's approach reminds us that education is not just about schools alone, it is deeply connected to society as a whole. One aspect of Finland's model that especially felt meaningful to me was its focus on supporting the whole child. Finnish schools provide meals, counseling, healthcare access, and special education support as part of everyday schooling. Support is not viewed as an extra resource only available to some students. Instead, it is built into the system itself. This approach reflects the belief that students learn best when they feel safe, supported, and cared for, emotionally, physically, and academically. The COVID 19 pandemic created major challenges for educational systems around the world. Countries experienced learning loss, rising mental health concerns, attendance issues, and widening inequities. Students who were already struggling before the pandemic often fell even further behind afterward. One important lesson from this period is that learning depends on much more than what happens inside the classroom. Students' emotional well being, home environment, and access to support all impacts academic success. As educational leaders, there are several important lessons we can learn from Finland's model. First, equity must be intentional. Schools must actively work to identify barriers and provide support so that every student has a fair opportunity to succeed. Second, schools should support the whole child, not just academic performance. Third, investing in teachers matters. Trust, collaboration, and professional support create stronger learning environments. Finally, meaningful educational improvement requires long term stability and shared commitment rather than constant short term reform efforts. As a teacher, these ideas resonate deeply with me. I strongly believe that students are more than data points. They are individuals with unique experiences, strengths, and challenges. Learning thrives in environments built on trust, care, and belief in students' potential. This research reminded me that education works best when it is viewed as a shared responsibility between schools, families, community, and society as a whole. Overall, Finland's educational model demonstrates that educational success is not only about performance or ranking, it is about creating systems where all students have the opportunity to thrive. Even though post COVID challenges have impacted educational systems worldwide, Finland's emphasis on equity, support, and meaningful learning still offer valuable lessons for the future of education. Thank you.